Dean McClung, Archer Monologues. This is April 28, 2020. I just want to give you a list. Now, I might elaborate a little bit. Maybe not. So I'll just give you the list. Here we go. Are you ready? I could elaborate on that and suggest that there's different interpretation. The spirit. Well, let's look at this God thing from the perspective of Christianity. I could narrow it down to just America. If God exists, that wasn't right. Oops, I think that was a sign. There was a sign there that I dropped the microphone. It fell on the floor all by itself. I mean, yeah, you did. I was starting to talk about this God thing, and I put God on the list of things that don't exist, and the microphone, which is sitting on my keyboard mount, just fell on the floor. Just poof, all by itself. Now that's a little scary. Ooh. Yep, it did. And I better be careful here. And then, all of a sudden, my throat gets a little clogged up with, substance. Post-nasal drip kind of thing, and drains down the throat and clogs up in there and makes it hard to talk and perhaps breathe. And that happened just now. So, microphone falls on the floor all by itself. I didn't touch it. Or did I? Maybe. Or it's a sign. Alright. Well, we're going to need more of a sign than that. We're going to need actual evidence. Scientific evidence. Now, this is a real world. This is a physical substance world. This is a place that exists in real time. In our consciousness, we see the earth. We see the ground. We see the sky. We have evidence that things exist. And from the existence evidence, we can tell you about the non-existent evidence. Alright, don't think on that one too hard. So, God? No. We realized that over the period of millennium, that the idea of God, the concept of God, has existed forever. And we can look at this history of humanity, and throughout the course of human existence, and we can see clearly that this concept of God has been a part of humanity and civilizations, human existence since the beginning, shall we say. The beginning of some sort of civilization, of some sort of organized community. Because if you're just a human being, like a caveman or a Neanderthal or whatever, just running around and running around and grabbing up something to eat and some berries and maybe some, grab a rabbit, tear it up, eat it, cook it, learn to cook it, figure out how fire is and then cook it, whatever. So, even then it's like, there's storms and lightning and thunder and, lightning struck me dead. And then, oh God. Oh God. Anyway, so we look at that and look at the history of this concept of God over the centuries, over the millennia, over the course of human existence, we find there's an evolution of the concept of God and the basis for it. And it's usually been, as far as I can tell, I'm not an expert on religion, okay? Just get that, be clear on that. But I am a fairly good expert on thinking logically and rationally. And some things are just not logical and just not rational and therefore not credible. Just for example, I want to get to my other lists here, other things on my list. But let's first consider that God was a necessity. That if there was no God, man would have to invent God. Oh, guess what? He did. Because there was no evidence that God existed then. So these people were not that smart. We're talking cavemen and tree people and mud people and so on. You know, practically apes, chimps, monkeys, whatever. Now, I'm not suggesting that human beings evolved from monkeys. All right? I could say that, but that's kind of off topic a little bit. And so I'm not going to go into that. That's not the point of this particular monologue. We see that God was invented and designed and shaped to suit the people that needed to believe in that. And why? They needed something above themselves, beyond themselves, to shall we say, blame for bad things that happen. And like, oh, God is angry, so he brought a flood, wiped us out. Or God was not too happy, so he allowed tornadoes, and he allowed disease, and disease came on us, and God created, well, there's absurdity in that, but they had to have a reason for it. They had to justify. They had to explain the unexplainable. So they made up things that explained it. Didn't explain it in reality, because we now know through scientific minds and research and study of the existence of the universe, the earth, the planet, nature, and so on. We have rules, laws of physics, laws of nature. Sometimes these mythological beings didn't really line up consistently with the laws of nature. I will get back to that at some point and elaborate on that. But let's go on the list. Oh, well, I should probably just say it now. There's no evidence that there's a God. There's no evidence there ever was a God. The Bible is not evidence. Let me be clear on that. The Bible is not evidence. If you took the Bible, put it in the hands of God, and said, hey God, prove you exist, well, read my book. The absurdity of that concept is unimaginable. All right, let's try some other things on the list. I'll get back to it. Satan. The interesting thing, I read a survey or study some time ago. It said that 71% of Americans, 71% of Americans believe the devil, Satan, Lucifer, the black beast, actually walked on the earth among us. Really. 71% of Americans. Now, I'm hoping that's not the same as it was then. I'm hoping, in the course of the time between when I read this, when that study was actually done, and now, I'm hoping that number has gone down considerably. Actually, it wasn't that long ago. But if we want to consider that 71% of Americans believe that, I think we can conclude that there are 71% of Americans that are not too bright. There is something mentally wrong. They are brain damaged. Seriously, that's just unbelievable. All right. The other day, I read another survey which said more people believe in Satan, the devil, Lucifer, in whatever form they believe it, spiritual, physical existence, whatever. More people believe in Satan than they do in God. Repeat that. More people believe in Satan than they do God. Think about this. And I'm thinking the numbers are somewhere around 50%, 51%, something like that, 47%. More people believe that there is a devil than believe there is a God. More people. Now, let's assume here at the moment. Can we assume if we're being scientific? Yeah. So we assume in linguistic purposes, for linguistic purposes, that they believe in Satan, but they don't believe in the God that created Satan. Well, now, isn't that interesting? If God created everything and created Satan, because as the story goes, Satan is actually, or should we just say Lucifer, was an angel. And he got in a little bit of trouble because he wanted to do something, and God says, nope, I'm casting you out, and you're going to go, live in hell and be the god of hell or something. You understand? So, wait a minute. Anyway, if you don't believe in the God, then you don't believe in Satan, because that's just ridiculous. It's absurd. So, let's say you do. All right. So you think Satan exists, but God doesn't exist. And so the God that actually made Satan, how can you have a Satan that's not, if God didn't make him, that's kind of contradictory somewhere. You understand what I'm saying? Some of you will, of course, understand everything I say, and some of you may not understand a word I'm saying here, now, or any other time in the past or future, whatever. Tough shit. So anyway, all right. So no, let's see. Angels. We don't have to elaborate on that. Those are supernatural beings that do what, and where they come from, and no. Just no. All right. Leprechauns. Oh, the Irish like their leprechauns. Oh, yes, they do. Well, leprechauns. Let's put leprechauns in the same category as, say, let's say Santa Claus, Tooth Fairy, goblins, demons, witches, unicorns, and such creatures. No leprechauns. Speaking of leprechauns and other things, how about this? I did mention witches. There was a time, long period of time in life, in history, human history, where, there was something as, well, let's just mention the part about in the Bible. Suffer ye not a witch to live. Now we know what that means. It means kill the bastard, kill the witches. And witches, warlocks, sorcerers, that sort of thing. Well, we know there's no such thing as witches. Because, how do we know? Because there's not any such thing as witches. Come on. Let's be serious, people. Alright, so, burn the witches, kill the witches, murder the witches, torture the witches. How about rape the witches? Hey, we'll just fuck the devil out of them. Seriously. Read the history of witchcraft and witchery and torture, rape. I'll bet the pretty girls were raped more than the ugly witches. I mean, witches, pretty witches. I bet you the pretty witches were raped more often than the ugly witches. You think? Maybe? You think? It's possible? I don't know. Yeah. There's a fantasy in there. Oh, yeah. I'm writing a novel about that. It's called The Witch Hunter's Wet Dream. It's about a guy who, as it turns out in his life, becomes a witch hunter back in those days. And he's looking for witches. It becomes his job, his responsibility, his purpose for life, and he's hunting witches. I'm going to hunt some witches, and I find them, I'm going to, I guess, kill them, burn them at the stake, give them a trial, maybe, you think? Perhaps a trial. Find them guilty, burn them at the stake. We might have to torture them, lock them in a dungeon, chain them up in the dungeon, rape them, pillage, thunder, torture, whatever, you know what I'm saying. Oh, no, I just babbling. You know what I'm saying. Bad things happened to witches back in those days. Well, there weren't any witches, so that was just plain torture, murder, rape, criminal, evil, sinful, disgusting behavior for those people that did away with witches, since there weren't any such thing. And to believe it's incomprehensible that a great part of human history there were people that actually believed in witches. It's unimaginable that it was like the general belief that there's witches, and the Bible, of course, says they're witches. Don't deal with them. Just kill them and torture them and shit. Yeah, I'm lighting a cigarette. You don't like it? Fuck you. Anyway, no. So they the thing that, I mean, it just boggles the mind that people were that, how would I say it, stupid, that they actually went along with this. Like, let's burn the witches. I just can't imagine anybody being that stupid. Until I look around me today and see that, millions of people believe in God, which is somewhere in the line of witches and unicorns and flying spaghetti monsters. It's just crazy. Okay, what else is nuts? Okay, here's one. Flat Earth. What does not exist? A flat Earth does not exist. Sorry to disappoint you, but if you believe the Earth is flat, you are brain dead. Alright, moving along. We already spoke about witches. Miracles. Okay? If it doesn't follow the laws of nature and physics, it didn't happen. Sorry, John, but no, didn't happen. Okay, Santa Claus. Yeah, we all know that one. We know where it came from. We know how the origin of it way back, and St. Nicholas and so on. And it's a cute story. The kids like it. It's fun. Parents seem to like it more than kids sometimes, I think, because they perpetuate that on their children, and it's not true. But perpetuated that, and of course we all know at one point Christmas was banned by the prevailing leaders of that community. Was that up in not Salem, somewhere up in the northeast of West Virginia, northeast of America, Massachusetts or some damn place. So anyway, nope, not gonna have Christmas. It's satanic or something. I think that's just wrong, because who banned it? It wasn't the kids, probably not the parents. It was probably some politicians or religious con men people. So anyway, let's see what else. UFOs. You know what? I've never seen. See, this is interesting, because the other day the government released videos and so on, documentations about the sightings of UFOs. Phenomenal. Unidentified flying phenomena. I looked at the videos. I don't think I could really see any actual UFOs there. I mean, if you didn't know what it was, and it was flying, then I guess you could say it was an unidentified flying thing. But was it aliens? Didn't see any aliens in the video. In fact, I couldn't even make out for sure exactly what it was I was watching. There's a video. There was some kind of black spot on the screen. It was hovering around. If you want to convince me that there are flying saucers and UFOs and things of that things, aliens and people, from other planets and creatures from other planets flying here on a spaceship or something and landing on Earth and so on and taking over our bodies, the body snatchers and stuff. If you want to convince me of that, show me a real flying saucer thing. Show me. Show me one. If you see one, would you tell the aliens flying it, hey, fly it over to Dee's house, land it somewhere nearby, and, get out and talk to him and say, hey, we're aliens, and we're flying this unidentified thing, because we know what it is, so it's only unidentified to you, but to us, it's quite identified. It's our spaceship. It's our, it's how we got here. Show me some evidence. Catch some creatures. Have some aliens, like maybe send me an email. Something concrete. Otherwise, no. I'm sorry. Because, nope, I'm not buying it. Now, like I said, there are unidentified things in the world. Flying things, crawling things, creeping things, a lot of imaginary things. Sure. I haven't seen any evidence. None. Zippo. Alright, here's one that's a little bit more practical. The income tax. There's no law making the average non-incorporated American liable for the income tax. And you thought there was. Nope. Doesn't exist. No such law. How do I know? Because I've looked for it. And a lot of other people have looked for it. And guess what? It doesn't exist. It's not there. I even called an IRS agent once, and I said to him, hey, show me the law. And he hung up on me. Well, he said something nasty first, well, I won't repeat it here. You wouldn't believe me if I told you what he said. It was something on a basically, you're a wacko. Fuck off. Anyway, he hung up. And I was going to call him back, but I got to answer the phone the second time. Well, that tells me something, doesn't it? And, when I talked to him on there, one of them, he said, that would be the 16th Amendment. Now, I'm thinking, if I'm not mistaken, an IRS agent should know where to find the law that makes me liable for the income tax. I would think that H&R Block and those tax preparer people and TurboTax and all those people would know where the law is and actually show me and cite it and say, here it is, chapter 4, paragraph 6, and read it to me. Or, show me it in the book, the tax book, and say, here it is, right here it is. Give me a link to it online or something. Here it is, where it says, everybody, including you, D, and all of your friends and neighbors and fellow Americans, are hereby declared to be liable for the income tax, and passed that by Congress by a majority or so. And, guess what? Nope. Zip. Can't show me. Why? Because it doesn't exist. You can't show someone something that doesn't exist, can you? Nope. So, there is no law. And I've got a whole bunch of other things to say about the income tax and that fraud and the greatest financial crime ever committed on the freaking country. Maybe even the world. Zillions of dollars robbed from people. Illegally. Now, I'm not just tooting my horn here. I'm telling you, I've done the research. I know people that have done the research. I know people who, well, I know a guy that wrote a book, 425 pages, in fact, about the tax. And he proves, beyond a doubt, by citing documentation and laws and court rulings over the years, that proves beyond a doubt there is absolutely no law making us liable, because for one reason, the law doesn't exist, and for two, you can't tax people's income. You just can't. It's against the law. You might want to look that up in the Constitution. Court rulings have said it applies to corporations. Only corporations that engage in privileged activities that's granted to them by the government with their corporation charter. So, no law, none, zero. And oh my, just in passing, a withholding agent is a person who withholds money, which is corporate profit, by the way, monies that is due to a foreign corporation that does business within America. I'll read it to you from the text code. A non-resident alien with domestic source income. Non-resident alien. Non-resident. That means he doesn't live here. That means the corporation doesn't live here. He is living in a foreign country. Like, say, Sony. Sony is corporate headquarters is in some other country. See what I'm saying? So, foreign country. Oh, yeah. So, not us. And it says, with domestic source income. That means if you're a foreign corporation doing business in America, you're selling a product, let's say, in America, that, you in China selling something to Americans in America. That's a foreign corporation doing business in America. That's what that means. That's not my opinion. That's what it means. There are all kind of backup sources to prove that. And court rulings, etc. And by the way, they're in the book. And I'll tell you the book. Dave Champion, Income Tax, Shattering the Myths. Get the book. Read the book. You'll know what I'm talking about. You can decide on your own. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm not telling you not to pay your taxes. Because, if they're your taxes, then that means you owe them. I'm not saying that the income tax might not be your tax. You may not owe it. So, you decide. Read the facts. Read the book. It tells you. It's got references. You can cross-reference it. You can look across there. You can look it up yourself. You can do it on the internet. Like I did. You can find out everything in the book is absolutely true. Dave Champion, Income Tax, Shattering the Myth. Alright? Get it, read it, you'll know. Then you can be an expert. Well, almost. Alright. Anyway, there's no law. It's all corporations. Corporations have income. Income, according to the tax code, is corporate profits, not your wages. You have a right to earn a living, and you have a right to your money and get paid for it in compensation. You're not getting a profit. You're getting compensation for your labor, which is not taxable according to the law. Alright. Let's move on. What else do we have here? Oh, I will elaborate further on all of these things in a future episode. Alright. I'm not going to suggest to you that global climate change is not real. Of course it's real. Look outside. See that? That's the climate. It's raining. Tomorrow, sunshine and 80 degrees. It's real. Next summer, next winter, 38 degrees, snow. Climate change. Now, as far as this global warming thing, what I've read says no. Now, here's an interesting thing. Al Gore, bless his heart, has said that back in 2001 I think it was, he said, oh, that was a bad year, wasn't it? Al Gore says that, hey, inconvenient truth. I fell for that, got the book, read it, said, yeah, nope, didn't happen. Okay, because he said, let's see, what did he say? He said that by the year 2020, the oceans, the sea level around, let's say, Florida, would be 20 feet higher. 20 feet higher. It would be like 20 foot of water over Florida, over the coastline of Florida, I suppose. 20 feet. By now. When? Now. When? Repeat that. When would this 20 foot of water be over over Florida? When? Now. 2020. Guess what? Still waiting. Didn't happen. How much has the sea level rose in the last 19 years? Say 19, 20 years. How high? Sea levels. Last report I read was somewhere less than a quarter of an inch. A quarter of an inch. Now, I've seen videos, and I've actually taken videos, made videos, of the sea, and the sea coast, the water coming into the land. I've taken videos over a period of some years, and I compare the two, and guess what? I can't tell the difference. The water looks the same. The high tide's the same. The low tide's the same. No difference over a period of 20 years. Interesting, isn't it? So, are we supposed to believe Al Gore about anything? Probably not. He has no credibility. 20 years, waiting, 20 feet, nope, quarter of an inch. Actually, it was less than a quarter of an inch. It might have been like quarter of an inch would be like a tenth of an inch. Okay, let's just say a quarter of an inch. Yeah, and I could tell the difference. How? Well, I'm going to tell you this. Doesn't affect me because I live in West Virginia. And if it was 20 feet higher now, I could probably go up on the highest mountain in West Virginia and look over towards the ocean and say, wow, it's a lot higher now. It's even closer to West Virginia than it was 20 years ago. But guess what? Nope. All right. Not that I've done that, but if I did, I can't imagine seeing the ocean. Floating ocean waves coming in, like tipping on the eastern panhandle of West Virginia. Not really. So that's that, and I'm still waiting, and nope. So it's like, oh, man-made. Global warming is caused by man. Well, we've already heard the arguments about that. And for example, how come we got climate changes in other places, like other planets, where man doesn't exist? Are you going to tell me that, let's say, Mars is affected by what men do on planet Earth? You think? I mean, climate-wise? You think the climate of Mars is affected by, a power plant run by coal in freaking West Virginia? Really? You believe that? Seriously? I laugh in your face. All right, let's move on to something. Oh, by the way, it says 97% of scientists agree, blah, blah, blah. Yeah? I want to hear about the 3% that don't agree. You understand? If there are 100 scientists and 97 of them say, yep, that's real, global warming, and man is doing it, but 3% of us, 3 of us don't agree with that and don't think so. Okay? I want to hear from those 3. Because obviously they have a reason for saying, nope, don't think so. I want to hear them. I want to hear what they have to say. Where are they? Are they being silenced? Are they being forbidden to talk to the public about what they think? I think it's possible. Or they're just drowned out, called deniers. I really hate that. Somebody calls me a denier, I'm going to slap in the face. Don't say that to me. It's stupid. It's ridiculous. I'm not denying anything. Just asking a question. I want to talk to the other three guys. Alright, hold on. Take a break. Alright, let's finish this up with one more item. Something that doesn't exist. A decent cigarette. Now, you're going to suggest maybe that cigarettes are bad and people shouldn't smoke and it's a dirty habit and all that sort of thing. You're going to say, oh, it causes lung cancer. Alright. Now, I smoke. I shouldn't, for various reasons. It's not a good idea. As a doctor once said to me, the problem is that we stopped using tobacco as a ceremonial thing, and we started using it as a pleasure thing and a thing to what's the word, to relieve stress and so on. If we'd have just kept it as ceremonial, like the Indians with the peace pipe, etc., and things wouldn't have gone out of hand. But that aside, the fact of the matter is they've done so much damage to the cigarettes in America today that they're just basically worthless. For one thing, and I don't want to make a specific charge here against the tobacco companies that make Kools cigarettes. They made a good cigarette, a cigarette that I rather enjoy smoking. And I've been smoking cigarettes, Kools, for example, for 50 years. And not too long ago, a couple of years ago or so, they stopped making a particular brand of cigarette, a particular style of Kools cigarette that I liked. I enjoyed it. It was a good cigarette. It had good flavor, and it was nice. I liked it. Then they stopped making it because of some stupid thing. I don't know. The government said, don't make those anymore. It was a good cigarette. It didn't sell a lot because I guess people didn't particularly like the cigarette as much as I did. But people did buy it. And of course, the economy of doing business, a business that sells a product, that actually sells a product like this particular Kools, which was Kools Ultralights, which was a good cigarette. It was light, it was decent, tasted good, had a good flavor, and it didn't make you cough. And it stayed lit. Now there's the problem. They made cigarettes now that are fire retardant, which of course is absurd. It's a joke, farce, because you know what? I've got cigarettes here. This one particular brand that I've switched to was called USA Gold. It's a menthol, supposedly a light menthol. It doesn't say anything about that on there. And you light the thing, and if you can get it lit in the first place, you're doing good. But if you can keep it lit while you're smoking it, it's a miracle, because they keep going out. They won't stay lit. That's because they put some sort of something in the cigarette. They designed the cigarette in such a way to make them go out. And this is supposed to do what? Keep people from setting themselves on fire if they fall asleep in front of the TV? Really? Guess what? Sometimes they don't go out. Oh, they go out when you're trying to smoke it, but if you happen to, put one that's past that particular halfway point in a cigarette, and you hold that in your hand, and that thing's going to keep burning at that point until it burns down, burns the filter, and burns your finger. Or if you put it in an ashtray, it's going to keep burning. You try to stomp it out in the fire, out in the ashtray, and it won't go out. You have to stomp, 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 stomp. So, it's a joke. The fire retardant concept is a joke. It doesn't work. It works in the negative because it won't let you smoke and enjoy the cigarette, because you gotta keep lighting the thing every time you turn around. I know, take one puff, then you gotta light it again. This is a defective product. The product is made by a company that is making a product to sell and make a profit and provide people who want it to be able to buy it. I won't even talk about the extreme stupid prices and taxes on it. But here it is, a good product, they ruined it. Now it won't stay lit. It's not a joy to smoke anymore. Oh, they want them to do that so you'll quit smoking. Yeah, guess what? That's not their job. That's my job to decide if I want to quit or not. Not theirs. They have no right to tell me that. Not the government, not the tobacco companies, not my next door neighbors, not my mother. Nobody. That's my decision. It's not illegal. They want it to be legal. I'm sure they do. But no, guess what? As long as I can grow tobacco in my backyard, and I can, I'm going to smoke a cigarette if I want to. If I don't want to, I'll quit. That's my business. But the point is, they ruined the product. Now, what kind of business can stay in business and keep making billions of dollars with a defective product? And this is not just Kools. This is Winston's and Marlboros and whatever. They're all been ruined. They all have been ruined. They are defective. They are a defective product. And I'm pretty sure if you sell a defective product, there's a law against doing that. And if there's not, there should be. I'm pretty sure it's called fraud, among other things. The point is, they ruined the cigarette, they ruined the product, they're still selling it, they're still making money, because people like me, want to. I want to buy it, I want to smoke it, I want to enjoy it, but, I can't. I could make myself a cigarette, I suppose. Well, actually, I can't. I don't think there's any way that I could actually make a cigarette like this, with a filter and the papers and all that stuff. Now, if they do away with the papers, it might be less harmful, because there's a lot of poisons in those papers. However, it's a defective product, that's fraud, that's familying the public, and they're allowed to do that, get away with it? No. People should stand up to these people and tell them, no, you're not doing this anymore. Make a good cigarette, stop ruining your product, or we're going to put you out of fucking business. Or something. Something. Sue them. Oh yeah, I forgot. The government says you can't sue the tobacco companies anymore. Why? What kind of legal is that? It's not. It's illegal as hell. Alright, I'm going to have to wrap this up. But tobacco companies making cigarettes, you put that in there. Oh, by the way, if nicotine is so bad for you, let me think. Why don't you just take the nicotine out of the cigarette? I'm pretty sure it can be done, because you can get cigarettes with low nicotine. They take it out. Take it all out. Then they turn around and put a lot more in than they should. There was a big deal about that at one point. So anyway, I got to wrap it up. We'll continue this conversation at some... Not a conversation. My bad. Monologue. That means I talk, you listen. This is D. McClung, signing off for now. Catch you next time. D. McClung, Archer Monologues. Bye-bye.